Ian Fang case.
This is the slippery slope there, right? All men are one step away from. When I made a post there, I'll be wifeless for a couple of weeks. Got weird DMs for weird chills for weird things.
Yo!
Yeah.
Honestly, sounds a bit confusing. Sounds like a normal relationship.
Oh no.
Oh no!
I can see how you would see this as this is a normal relationship.
Call the police.
Today, we're actually going to be covering a very recent case that everybody has been talking about, which is the Ian Fang case. This guy, 34-year-old actor / acting school teacher also, since you want to go into more detail. Modeling school teacher, took advantage of a 15-year-old girl multiple times. There were basically accusations of like emotional manipulation and all this kind of stuff also. Then he kena called out, kena caught, go to court, and then now he is going to jail for it. That is the gist of it. Do you know the deeper details?
I saw the Mothership post.
Yeah.
I thought it was a super boss of the victim's mom to say, let's dox him. And if they find out who my daughter is, they find out who my daughter is, but I'm going to dox him and take him down in the process. And I think, wow, that is super boss. I feel like that one really sends a signal over going to jail for whatever months.
I hope the victim also felt that way. Not like mother like force, right?
So from what I read, I believe Ian Fang's legal team was like, no, because people might be able to identify the victim because they are seen in a lot of photographs across like, all the 8 days and all that. And then the victim's legal team representing the victim said that despite the risk of her being identified, she is ready for that. He needs to be exposed to something like that.
Actually, honestly, when I look at the thing and then like as I flip through the carousel, my first question is, how did he kena pauto? Because it felt like they were in a relationship together. Whether or not she is in love with him as a human or as in love with him as a celebrity, right? She really steady lah. Like, she loves him and she wants to take care of him also. So like, how come it got out? And then I realized, okay, so the STD lah. Then probably the doctor will be like, have you been sexually active? Then she'll probably like, no, because I'm mother in the room. And then it's like, but you have an STI. And then the mother's like, oh, you better be true. And then who's the guy? And then like, oh, Ian Fang. Boom. Then boom.
You played through the whole scenario in your mind.
I played through the whole thing, right? But then that's when I realized also, right? I honestly don't think it's possible for the victim to be fully comfortable with letting people know that the guy was Ian Fang out of maybe her love or wanting to protect him or Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. So honestly, it does feel like it's the mother's decision.
In fact, that last part is so important, like the relationship part, right? That actually influenced the sentencing, because a lot of people actually came out and say, hey, how come the sentencing is so short? But in fact, like lawyers actually have come out to say that actually the sentencing, right, for this particular case, quite on the high side already, simply because she actually falls between an age group between 14 to 15, right? Where if you are actually in a consensual relationship in which she determined that Ian Fang was like her boyfriend-ish, then it was actually less severe. Had it not been consensual, it would have been deemed like way worse.
Right.
Yeah. And had she been less than 14, it would have been rape.
Statutory rape.
Yeah,
above
statutory rape.
16?
Exactly.
It would have been nothing.
Would have been fine.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and she's 15.
But
at
what?
time.
Okay, but what if like the age gap is bigger, like 16 plus a 50-year-old man?
It's not so much about the age gap, it's more of the age of consent that is in play here.
There's also a component of grooming involved, is it? Because I know that grooming laws is under 18 and below also, right?
According to the lawyer, I think that was quoted on Mothership, and if I'm quoting him right, the nature of it as being looked at is whether it was an exploitative relationship. Right. And so there's a lot of ways to determine that. I think they look at history, they look at messages, they look at things like that. And based on the judge's ruling, it looked like it was a consensual relationship rather than an exploitative relationship.
Because they met at like a party.
She looked like a willing party, but again, how do you determine whether
they met at a party?
Oh yeah. No. That also, but she also
it was considered that they met at a party, so it's not like it's a teacher-student kind of thing.
But also then there's the very obvious conversation that you're 15. How much are you aware? How can you even consent? The law has already decided you cannot consent at that age.
Yeah.
You're only allowed to consent at a certain age. Before that, you're not really consenting, right?
But I think with this case, with like a 15-year-old and a 34-year-old, it's quite clear that there was an adult in the room. There was an adult here that could have been, who have made the responsible decision out of all this, because we know that as 15-year-olds, we may want something, we may think we want something, but at the end of the day, we may not and necessarily, or at least by law, we are not set or not determined to be able to make decisions for ourselves. And so then it's really up to the adult who is involved in all of this to either walk away or not even try and approach a child to begin with, with. So I guess to some extent I can understand why there was some uproar as to why the sentencing was, I guess, too short for some people. But at the end of the day, I think we have to realize that we don't know what the nature of the relationship was.
I had a separate thought on this, right? Which is that how does things like this happen, right? And I tell you, this is the slippery slope that, right, all men are one step away from.
Okay.
Not pedophilia or like rape or whatnot. I mean like the slippery slope of, I mean, as someone that is not nearly as known as who Ian Fang is, I am damn careful, right, to just go to dinner with another girl. I'll like dinner, like lunch meeting, I feel I can get away with it, right?
Yeah.
Like dinner time at a fancy place that's non-cafe with a girl that's not my wife, not my sister. It's not that it's a hard no or I wouldn't, but I would be conscious of it. You know, like, or I would ask another friend to join if possible, which happened last week, right? Because Pat was away in London. So like everybody, any female that I met, like I asked more people to come.
So instead of one girl, you have 4 girls.
That's exactly what happened.
That's way better, right?
No, that is way better. No, really, the optics wise.
To protect yourself or what?
No,
Like,
okay,
you
some
scared-
people
No,
see.
like you scared of yourself.
Yeah.
Or you scared of the girl.
No, girl.
Or you scared of people.
People.
Yeah, because people might just say
perception.
and then just
Perception.
start
Perception
something.
only.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't want, because there are also times where people do it out of jest. They just send a picture. Oh, John is here with this other person.
yeah.
You know. But it's out of jest. For someone like me to be so guarded about these things, right? For someone to be at the level of Ian Fang, right, which is like plus TV and all that stuff, I don't believe it was an easy decision to even get into a relationship with this. I feel like, right, I mean, and this is completely hypothetical, okay? Like my imagination.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a matter of meeting someone and then she just like very happy to see him, and he maybe being a nice guy is saying that if you need any advice, like just ask me.
Yeah.
You know, and it starts with like, then I give the number. Then after that, maybe Ian Koko, I got a question for you, right? And then it just kind of begins there, and then like you want to, I'm very hungry, I want to go for dinner.
Yeah.
And then you saying yes to micro things, and then bullshitting yourself, that it's just because I'm a nice guy.
No, but-
over and over again, right, gets you in fucking situations like this. That's
But
what Pat warns me about every day.
But the facts of this case, right, is of where he find her to have sex, right, that creeped me out a bit. Because the first one is she have COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
She got what's it?
Quarantine.
Quarantine in a hotel.
Yeah.
So it's like he decided to go to the hotel to have sex with her when he know, number one, she's sick. Number two, it's supposed to be a quarantine.
So the mom checked her into a hotel to quarantine.
Not him. Okay, okay.
Then that's where he did it the first time.
Got it.
Then after that, the teen was still quarantined, but she left the room to meet him. Then after that, then they went back to his residences.
Oh.
Then that's the next time. Then after that, the teen was hospitalized. Then he went to the...
She got COVID how many times?
What the hell is this? This guy got problems, yeah.
He wanted the COVID.
He was in the hospital room.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
like
okay.
based on all his actions, it sounds predatory.
Yeah.
Don't you think so? It's like there are so many instances to prevent you from meeting, right? But he have to push through all these like sickness and
What I'm trying to say is that if you ask Ian Fang 5 years ago, right, is he interested in minors? I think he will say no. Right? I think lah.
who would say yes?
The bird is okay.
I think he touched he touched his own heart. I think
He will say
unless he really has pedophilic tendencies, right?
Okay.
I think he will just say no. Why would I? You know.
Yeah.
But I feel like a series of, maybe it's a young girl. I say yes because I support her career. I say yes because I'll be a good friend, or like she look up to me, and now I quite free because I'm no longer acting. I don't know, very long never seen him on TV. I don't know what's going on with his life, right? A series of yes, right, puts him in a spot where he has this kind of friendship with a young girl, whereby she might maybe be the first to develop some romantic feelings for him, right? And he just kind of play along because he just kind of enjoyed the attention. Like that, like there's like pre-sex.
Yeah.
You know, it's a series of just being a nice guy. Just being a nice guy.
You're saying that he's not a guy that intentionally is just seeking out young girls and then goes out and like only
I don't know
hunt
lah.
for
Maybe
young
it is
girls.
lah.
Maybe.
But what I'm trying to say is that, okay, I'll give you another weird example. When I made a post that I'll be wifeless for a couple of weeks, got weird DMs for weird chills for weird things.
Yo,
Yeah.
let's what like
Like
So-
what?
It could be
hair lah,
something.
guys.
It could be
It's the
drinks.
Can share?
from girls.
Yeah.
Wait.
Oh,
But you all see my fucking face, you all think no chance. I also think so.
they shot
That's what. You're putting words in our mouth. No, but okay, if you go back to the whole thing about him like just being innocent at the start before he went apart, to me it's like I think we all don't know the facts of the case all the way to the end. We don't know every minute detail. So I don't know how they met I don't know how the interactions were in the start. Was it always public? Was it always very innocent? Was it just a fan and an admirer and a celebrity, that kind of thing, that eventually spiraled into something else? Or is it that the first time he met her, he already knew what he wanted, he was just building up to it, which is classic grooming, which is what we always see in age cases like this, underage victim and a much older perpetrator. So, I mean, we don't have the facts, we can't speak to it. But when we perceive it, the way I perceive it is that there's this immediate reaction that, this person definitely must have, as a small kid here, that I can take advantage of. So he took advantage over, various occasions, and he kept it private. That's the thing that we keep coming back to, is that he was very discreet.
No, let's say in your example, like they start off good, right? Then what if like no sex happened? Then he wait until like she's 18. Is that still considered grooming?
I think that's the definition.
That's the definition of grooming.
So
Yeah.
as long as the party is below 60 is grooming, 70 not grooming.
Yeah, but okay, I think this one grey because we also got a lot of
You
friends,
know?
right, that date slightly older, right?
Yeah.
Then honestly, they got together a bit later in life, lah.
Right.
Yeah, so
Because I'm a bit
it could
confused
be-
by the grooming term, whether it's specifically for like adolescents
Yeah.
below 17 or like, if the person has is an age gap thing, like 20 versus like 70.
But that's
Then is
like
it
that's like
grooming?
I think then the person that wants the other person convicted, the onus is on that person to prove that grooming took place.
But from my knowledge, the age of consent from when I last checked it for conversation purposes is 16 lah. For both. I believe there was like rumors or like there was a myth that it was like different ages for guys and girls, like 18 for guys or 16 for girls. But
Yeah.
turns out that it's not. It's 16
Yeah,
for
it's
both.
16 for legal age of consent, and then under 18 is sexual grooming.
Yeah, so there must be some form of evidence of like an exploitative or grooming relationship. Yeah, if not, you're in the clear pretty much.
What is the appropriate age gap you think? That, like, for example, let's say you have a younger sibling, right? So 18 years old already, but then the person that they're dating, they tell you it's like 35-year-old.
Cannot.
Yeah.
I will have follow-up question.
Yeah.
I feel like if you have follow-up question, then it's not clear, no.
So what's the first question? Like where you met lah?
Where do you meet him? Like,
Okay.
Is he rich?
Do you know them before you were 18? That's a very important one. Did this person make themselves known to you before 18? Were they waiting for the 18, you
Fair,
know?
fair.
Yeah, that's a very important one to know. That's grooming lah. That's ethical grooming, I guess, in this.
Because I think in secondary school, we also got friends that like, it's not that they are smart beyond the years, but they are mature beyond their years.
Yeah.
Then when they come back with a 32-year-old boyfriend, right? And then you're like, okay, lor. Makes
Exact.
sense.
It makes
Heads
sense,
up.
yeah.
That it made sense then lah.
Yeah.
But now it's a bit like, you look back, you're like,
No, I think there was a formula to it. I think it's like divide by 2 plus 7.
Seven,
Yeah.
that's
Divide by 2
yeah.
plus 7. Which I remember looking at the numbers and like it kind of made sense. Because it's like 40, so it's like 27. Okay, what? A 27-year-old and a 40-year-old?
My hot take on all this is that until you're 25 and your prefrontal cortex hasn't fully formed, right? Your cerebral cortex hasn't fully formed, right?
Yeah.
Anybody you date beyond that age, right? You don't know what you're doing.
My dilemma here is that if let's say I have a younger sibling, 18 years old already, now, okay, out there dating and that kind of thing, right? Exploring themselves and other people, right? Would I rather they date somebody with more experience, older, wiser and all that?
Yeah.
Or would I rather they mess around with people around their age who also don't know what the fuck they're doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that debate. So either way also, like, maybe there's a crazy 18, 19-year-old that's also extremely emotionally manipulative and whatever, right?
Yeah.
Who's gonna take advantage or abuse my sibling, right? Then how?
Also, I met Pat at 15. And I
You're
hold
grooming each
true,
other.
right? If I met Pat in my late 20s, right? Or early 30s, right? We may not date.
Oh, why?
Because we are fundamentally very different people. Pat and I are very different people.
Yeah.
I think if you know us long enough, you know that we're extremely different people. We have a lot in common, yes. We complement each other, yes. But we are fundamentally very, very different people. And if I met her at a stage where I know who I am and I know what I want in life, we may not. I don't think I'll go with her. Unless it's really just because she's pretty, or, like, it has to be something almost that superficial because like she's very pretty, which I feel like in secondary school, she's very pretty enough.
Yeah.
Enough.
Okay.
Right? She's very pretty enough. And the fact that, like she don't like this, then never mind, I'll just be someone else. Like, she don't like this thing about me, never mind, I will just change. Like, it's shit that you would do when you are sub 20.
Yeah.
But at a certain age, you're like, this is what I want, I know who I am, I'm a strong, independent woman, I don't need no man, When you reach that phase in life, you're trying to find a puzzle that somewhat fits 98%, then you're willing to adjust 2%, then Pat and I would not have gotten together. So I agree with you that I don't know whether age is the thing, but you understand why the law exists to protect people.
Yeah, for sure.
So not arguing that.
So I have a checklist, right, to kind of identify whether you may potentially be you are being groomed.
I thought you were a pedophile.
Yeah. Not yet. That one later.
No, I would love to know that one. So.
Yeah, so actually when I read the list already, right, just to set some pretext, right? When I read the list already, right, honestly sounds a bit confusing. Sounds like a normal relationship.
Oh no,
So
what if it's not?
Wait, JP.
Why you
I
think
think you're the right guy to ask this guy.
Okay, so the first one is excessive compliments. So they gave an example, you're so mature for your age. Which to me sounds like something you might say to somebody you meet. I don't know.
Pat said that to me before.
Right? Okay.
But you're
one.
saying
It always will come from an
Does she
older
need to be
person.
older to groom me or
you say age.
can kids groom each other?
If you're saying
Cannot,
this, I think
cannot,
that
cannot.
whole
No, but that's
Romeo and
something
Juliet
you always
thing.
hear from an older person to the younger person, correct?
Yeah.
The mature for your age. You can't say to a person of your own
No,
age,
you
mature
can
for your
lah.
age.
You can say
How would
somebody
you
older
even know?
also.
You should be the one who's mature if you know
No, but
that
it comes
already,
across as an insult. Like
No,
you're
it's just
both
a random
35 and you
compliment.
seem mature for your age. That sounds like an insult.
No, I think
Raja, you still mature for your age. I'll be honest.
it's the tone. You're so mature for your age.
Yeah. Hey, well,
But
you
if
know
it's
mature,
not the
sia.
older
It always feels like something that an observation that will be made by an older person.
Yeah.
Yes,
But not
yes.
that I at 20, I don't know what is the 20-year-old maturity versus
Yeah.
30-year-old maturity.
Okay, but if a 30-year-old says it to a 14-year-old girl, now it seems very weird.
It's almost like he's talking to himself. He's like justifying.
But I got here at like those family gathering, right? Like the auntie say to the another child, like cousin, wow, she's so mature for her age.
Yeah, then you move to number 2 of the
Is
checklist.
that
So it
must
has
be
to
multiple
connect
things.
together.
Cannot be one thing then you don't go to jail.
that's how I eliminate the CNY auntie.
Okay, so the second one is isolation from peers / family.
There you go.
Okay, yeah.
That's enough.
Your auntie bring you aside separately and say,
You seem mature.
Technically, if you are dating somebody, you all mostly go out one-on-one, ma.
yeah.
Nope. Is that not isolation from peers and
I
family?
scared. I always bring the group in case I boring.
Okay, the third one is secret communication.
Oh, like the karaoke app that the guy logged into to talk to the girl.
Wait, what?
So Ian Fang logged in after like they had a little breakup going on.
Yeah.
Then he apparently logged into this app, karaoke app on the phone, where she had a private room to sing songs in. And then he talked to her in that way, which I believe, by the
my
way, is the
God.
modus operandi of quite a few of these groomers. And
Why does that function exist in a karaoke app?
yeah.
Please, someone
What is
explain.
the
I don't have
point?
karaoke apps on my phone.
Wait, so I don't understand what this karaoke app is. So she basically live streams her just singing.
I don't think she live stream. I think he just hangs out in it.
Okay, but anyway,
Yeah,
point
yeah.
is secret communication. Technically, one-on-one with somebody, you have your own Telegram chats and all that kind of stuff. that other people can see.
Yeah, self-destructing.
Kind of like
Yeah.
secret
Yeah.
communication,
Yeah.
right? And then the last one is gradual boundary pushing, which
But then,
Why are you laughing?
No, no, just let him finish.
Yeah, finish.
Let him cook.
is it correct what? Like at the beginning when you meet somebody, start dating, you are unpeeling each other's layers, no?
Okay.
And that is the gradual boundary pushing, right? So it all makes sense.
I can see how you would
The
see this.
framework of dating.
I can see how you would see this as this is a normal relationship.
I see what you mean.
I see your
Most of them
your
make sense.
conclusion.
The only part that is different is that one is clearly
Old and one is
older
young.
and one is underage.
So basically, the
Yeah,
checklist
yeah.
how is grooming is how old is he?
that's the only thing.
But I mean, each one of those you can also see. For instance, the isolating part. You are a 33-year-old or 35-year-old, and then there's a 16-year-old, 15-year-old, and you are taking them away from people their age. Because other people, their age will notice the differences. They'll be like, why are you always hanging out with this uncle?
Okay, I got it already. It's not so much, are you in a relationship and this all applies, oh my god, are you grooming? Are you being groomed? It's more of that if you have a relationship with the older person, it could be purely kosher, it could be a mentor relationship. But if any of this happens,
yeah.
then you're being groomed. You have to satisfy the first criteria first. If you are 14 and you're in a relationship with an older person.
I see.
But
added
I
to the
can
list.
because of this list, right? I can kind of understand how children can fall victim to it.
Yeah.
Because to them, they think that they're experiencing a relationship.
Yeah.
Because everything is the same except for the one word, minor.
Yeah.
Especially if there's like something like an emotional gap like that you may be experiencing, like maybe didn't have enough parenthood time, for example. Then you are craving for that attention.
Which is why it goes back, right? People who end up doing this kind of stuff like Ian Fang, right? Like I feel like they themselves also maybe gone through some weird shit. You know? Like and then it ends up fucking them up in some way. And then this becomes this is how it manifests.
But I thought like, I'm still surprised this happens because I thought like, it's already put out there the punishment for it, ma. Is it not harsh enough, right? For them to like not do it
Yeah.
or like prevent them
Not-
from considering doing this
Meaning
kind
the
of thing.
pre-game relationship was so strong that he was confident that she is in it and she will not rat him out.
Yeah.
But the STD betrayed them.
Right.
It's the role of STD in society.
Yeah, because if you're in a relationship, like right now, you really purely love your partner. You trust them, or you trust that they wouldn't like betray you in any way. What?
No, but I don't know, like, let's say we up the punishment, right? 20 years in jail will like prevent people from even doing this. Or
So
like
you're saying
checking-
the grooming should be more
But the
harshly
death-
punished.
I feel
yeah,
like
no, I asking like if
death
it was
sentence
more.
also cannot stop people from bringing drugs.
Yeah, like I wonder if there can be a higher punishment, right? Would it really prevent like?
I think this particular Ian Fang case is the one because his identity was revealed. But I think this Ian Fang case is very, very landmark because
Because he's a celebrity.
he's a celebrity and the mom said, let's dox him. Or like whoever lah. Maybe it's the girl that says it. Yeah,
So
but
maybe
let's dox him.
maybe we should have a name and shame board. Like once you commit this kind of crime, right? You should your name and your picture, right? Like your jail picture. I don't know what's the picture called.
Mugshot.
Will be there, and then if someone like want to search you next time, right? It will come up.
Like a sexual
does-
offender
it does
list.
come out.
I think one of the main issues why the law may be that way is because when it comes to, especially with like sexual assault cases and all that kind of stuff, right? There are a lot of blind spots and grey areas. And so evidence, right, is usually very hard to prove because it's your word against mine. Everything happened in a private setting.
True.
Yeah.
If you actually read like the accounts from the judges, it's always whose story was more coherent.
More reliable.
Yeah.
So,
trustworthy witness.
Yeah, and we talk about like having a society that want to give second chance and rehab people and that kind of shit, right? Then that sounds like it does completely the opposite, ma.
Where do we actually draw the line when it comes to second chances? Because we feel like, okay, there is a certain amount of crime that, okay, everyone deserves a second chance, yellow ribbon. Where do we actually draw the line on that? Because there are going to be some where this person needs to be condemned for life.
That's true, lah. If I see like a little boy like step the cat or throw the cat, I think I cannot give second chance.
But he was just a boy. Like he didn't know any
cannot-
better.
So each of us have our own like lines like what is like
Yeah, I
an
think everyone's line
unforgivable
different.
crime. But I think that's why the point of like, life without parole like exists, right? It's so that the at some point in your punishment, the judges can decide whether or not you're worthy of being back into society, whether you can reintegrate. Very different. By the way, the whole thing about I think naming the guys who did do these offences later, right? I think there's a small drawback to this, and it's actually related to why Ian Fang is such a big landmark case. It's because as a celebrity, you can't really pinpoint the victim from the perpetrator's name. But the small scale perpetrators, if you identify them, there is a much higher chance you can identify the victim based off of that. Then the victim, if they get like, let's say there's not a celebrity, a normal guy, he's got like 20 pictures, and then you can see in 3 of them there's this girl who looks young.
Yeah, no,
And then you
in
can
many of
identify
these
away that,
cases, right, it happens to family members. So literally it become, this person was the uncle, so this person was the son, and that's how the story, it's the father. So then this is how the story comes out. Then after that I tell you who the father is, then it's like, this is your father, is it?
Okay, so I want to twist the situation a bit for you. What if he came to you before?
Right.
What if he came to you when he realized that the mother threatening to go to court or all this kind of thing and make the report, right? And then he came and tell you, and you are the best friend. Wow. What will you do in that situation?
Wow.
What the bro?
Okay, confirm.
I will this one time.
What
100%.
are you doing?
Yeah.
I think I will
So
want to
judgment aside, after you finish
Yeah.
the judging part.
Okay, after the judging, right? As a friend, I feel like I will still want to know why the thought process. Like
So he told you, eh?
then end with what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I think the point here is that
How to help?
A lot of people are you, not what you want, right?
Yeah.
So
How can you be a friend for him? Or,
Yeah.
or do
Because
you not?
I think a lot of people belong
Right.
to one of two camps. One is that I could never be friends with a pedophile. I immediately like stop all contact and then like
Yeah.
you are on your own brother. Not even brother anymore.
Yeah.
But then there's also other people which I feel like we shouldn't judge them, which will feel like, okay, my value as a friend shouldn't only be during good times. I can't just be judged as a fair weather friend. So if I have a friend who obviously did some stupid shit, made some really bad decisions and now is in deep shit, my value of a friend comes at these moments and I need to be there for that person even though I disagree with what they've done. I personally have absolutely no idea where I stand between those things because I feel like I could easily cross either place. But I feel logically I want to be that second friend. I want to be the friend that is going to hit you, is going to slap you, but is going to be there for you even though I disagree with what you did.
Right.
Yeah.
How to be there for him, you think?
I think right now, obviously, he's obviously done a lot of bad things, but he's probably going through a lot of emotional distress right now because as a celebrity to have this attached to this, your life is done. Your career is done for, right? So he's obviously going through a lot. He probably would think that he'd rather kill himself, like he said to the mother. Now you want to be a friend to try and preserve his life, at least, like, I would think. The second is to have to just be there to be someone to talk to, because clearly it sounds like as though he didn't have anyone to talk to. The fact that he could go down this path and be with this girl for many like years or whatever, he didn't have someone to talk to talk him out of this thing. So now I probably would think that I want to be a good friend to talk to him and go through his entire thought process. So I feel like I want to try and be that second friend, but I might end up being that first friend just out of an emotional like knee-jerk reaction. I don't know which is right, which is wrong.
I'm unable to be the first friend. I try. I can't.
To just say no. Like,
yeah, like, oh my God, you did something so terrible. Now you're dead to me, right? I'm unable to be this kind of friend. Like, even at my own detriment throughout my life. And as a result, there are often times where you get pulled down on the same. Like, I remember my knee-jerk reaction to Dikosh stuff is also, hey, let's bring it here, let's hear from his side.
Yeah.
I got crucified for that, right?
Yeah, people are like, why are you giving him a platform? But
yeah.
There was
but then why you watch?
Yeah.
Because they can't believe he's here.
Well, I feel like I'm the opposite. So, okay, the only time I ever thought about this circumstance is like, okay, let's say my friend cheat on his partner or whatever. Then, okay, that one, okay, I still can be your brother or whatever, right?
So you won't
no crime. No crime was committed.
Yeah, but we will have a talk lah. Like, you understand why this is wrong or not, bro? Try not to do it again lah, that kind of thing, right? If you still want to stay in a relationship, blah, 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 right? You want to take it to the grave or whatever. But, or fess up lah, and see whether you can.
No, but he needs you to be complicit to cover it, leh.
What?
He's like, I'm going to keep going and you better not say anything.
No. Let's like, later my wife's going to call you and I need her to say yeah with me.
So this one, all right, I'm like gray area 50-50,
Right.
but I think I will tell him, you cannot let it be pinned on me.
First, nothing about you.
So your whole thing is about self-preservation.
He cannot try to use me to cover up his mistake.
Right.
So you cannot say,
No, but that's his whole thing.
like
Oh, JP brought me to the
You call
thing.
JP, he will prove that I was where and whatever, I say no. I'm not going to play
okay.
and be in your lives and that kind of thing. I'm not in your relationship.
But if he say,
Yeah.
don't say, then you don't
Like
say.
you don't go off your way and say.
No, at that time, you make sure your wife don't call me, or you make sure your wife don't ask me.
Why negotiating, but fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I got some lines. I got some.
Let's test this out.
This is just cheating.
Let's test this out. Okay, I will take your secret. Okay, so you will take my secret to the grave, right? As long as I don't ask my wife, can't ask you anything. And then one day it's like, hello, John. I am John Chua's wife.
Okay. Hi, Pet.
Okay, hi, I'm Pat. Yeah, let's let me give you.
Hi, Pet.
John said he was with you like last Monday. Was it true?
Last Monday, I think so. Hey, I gotta go. I faster chao. Then I should call you.
No, but we had the chat already.
No, I know.
I got caught by you already.
Call you. Hey, fuck you. Pet calling me. You go to fucking center.
No, I can accept that. I can accept that.
Meeting towards that was a terrible response.
Not you.
As long as your wife don't call me, it's straight away false.
No, John Paul made a mistake. He called him. Then later Pat answered her.
Oh, shit. She got both phones.
Cannot call you. Just shut up.
Yeah. Then John is tied to a chair.
Oh my days.
Okay. But with cheating, right? I'm already like that. Yeah. So if you tell me you f*** a child, I think I have to be like, fuck you. I cannot. I cannot.
You
I
call the
don't
cops.
align with this motherfucker at all.
Yeah,
It turns out I don't know him. If he was going through this struggle and he's telling me, hey bro, I'm struggling, I attracted to fucking little children. That the entire time, but he haven't take action, all this kind of thing, right? Let me help you.
Yeah.
That one I steady.
Yeah.
But you go too far already.
Yeah. I
Wait,
see.
so I think it's more reasonable to ask you, since you are on the other side of the fence, right? Which
Which friend? Let's clarify.
no, so
The
for
second
example, with a
friend.
friend that did all this, right? To me, maybe if you call me, I'll say, okay, I do you one last favor. Because you desperately need somebody and something, and our friendship did mean something, I do it for you already. After that, just bye-bye lah, okay? Then, but in your case, you will be like, I will fully help you and support you and be there for you forever, and we are still best buds. That is how
That is
you
an
will.
exaggeration lah.
Then what does it look like for you?
To me, I think the friendship does not actually change. I think the circumstance change. Unless the people you hurt are people that I know or me or I care about. Yeah. So for example, if my friends cheat and I know your partner, I'll call him out because the other person is also my friend, right? And I'm anti-cheating lah. So that's also one weird line. Yeah. But I think in this situation, right, I'll be like, you want to go for drinks? I don't drink lah, But yeah, come to my house for drinks. Or I go to your house for drinks. Or, like you do need someone, you need a friend. Like I'll just chill. Like just so you don't end yourself.
But
also,
every time you meet this person, and hang out with him, right? When you see his face, you remember.
Over him forever.
yeah, but my brain's not wired like that.
Okay.
Yeah, because I work with some people in my life and The truth is that the mistakes stick in my head. All the employees that like make major mistakes that we lost money on. But I don't, you know what I mean? I don't look at you and look at mistake.
But money mistake
yeah.
is very different from violating and taking advantage of a child.
Like, okay, so like for example, if let's say let's do Dikosh because I feel like something similar actually happened, right? Like, but I'm not proud of this, okay? Like, I'm just describing this who I am. I'm not saying it's right. If Dikosh call me and be like, you heard lah, my answer won't be like, bro, why? Why did you?
Yeah.
You know, like to me, it's that you've gone through all that with your family already. You've gone through all that with the internet already. You've gone through all that with the news and media already and the courts already.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just be like, bro. Then he like try and get a chuckle out of him that there's no more explaining to be done. Yeah. Like there's no more like a why did you really, man? Yeah. To me, I feel like there's a time and place for that. You initiate that. Like when like which Dikosh eventually did like a AMA. Because personally I don't like being judged. Like as someone that's extremely judgmental in nature, right? You're afraid to be judged also. Like I've noticed that I always think about how people perceive me because I'm constantly sitting there judging people, right? That's why you think people sitting there constantly judging you. That may or may not be true, you see. But because as someone like that, even then you will make mistakes. You know, even if like I run a business, it doesn't mean that I do everything right by the book 100% each time. Sometimes I cut corner that we're supposed to put on Monday, I never put on Monday, I just go straight to that person, right? Yeah. It's not like every single copy I give you my 200%. Some days you get me on a rough time, I only got half a day to do it, then you get whatever time I have lah. Yeah. You know? And this is coming from the head of the business, which is supposed to be the highest level of quality control for the business by right lah. You know, and that still doesn't happen all the time. And whenever I get caught, like, John, this can't be your best work. To me, like we explained to the client, right? But internally, right, the judgment is over. We know the circumstance that got us here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a shag out that period. Done. What do you need?
Yeah, I understand that, which is why I brought up the firstly that dichotomy and also the previous question about where's the line drawn when it comes to second chances, because okay, that has to do with the law, right? Where's the second chance when it comes to you being a active citizen again and coming back and trying to reintegrate back into society? But I think it also comes back to whether you deserve to have a life, and by a life, do you deserve to have a social life? Do you deserve to have a family after that? You made a mistake when you were 34. It is a terrible mistake, it's a heinous crime. But once you learn your lesson already, you did your time. Do you deserve to come back and try again?
Yeah.
Knowing that you completely put that past life behind you, you're absolutely sorry for your mistakes. And I feel like to some extent, yes, I hope someone is able to still have that. And if that means you're able to maybe create new friends, I feel like people at the end, depending on where the line is regarding the crimes or whatever, deserve to rebuild eventually lah. And I feel like with the case with Ian Fang, given what he's good at and what he can do, and with the celebrity, the crime was terrible. He deserves to do his time. I don't know whether he can rebuild, and I think that's where you need your friends.
I don't think he can rebuild in the same way that how he built his whole life lah.
True.
But he will have to rebuild at some form doing something else. I also realized when you say that, right, one of the things that crossed my mind is, let's say at time of incident, we draw a line in the sand in terms of our timeline, right? My expectation is that here on out, and then once again, this is my own mental problem. Here on out, right?
Yeah.
I am tainted to the new people I meet.
Yeah.
If let's say I'm Ian Fang. And the victim aside, right? My current friends, right? My expectation will be my current friends from here on out will know me before I was tainted.
Wow, that's the opposite of how I would feel.
Exactly.
Yeah, to me, in my mind, right, is you are tainted in my memory now. Now
Right.
forever, I will always look at you as that guy who did that thing. Because to me, it's like if there's I draw this distinction in my mind, like if it's a victimless crime and a crime with a victim, like you go and rob a corporation, I don't really give a shit what you do. That's just money. It's just a company.
Yeah.
But if you hurt somebody, you hurt,
I agree,
and not
I
to mention
agree.
a child, right? To me, I'm forever going to be remembering you as the person who did that to that person. Whether a friend, in that book is what I'm trying to be or not, I can't be.
I
I
completely
can't
see
be in
where
that
you're
person's
coming
life,
from.
and I don't want that in that life also.
I say that from the point of, I think that's why also I have different expectations of the people around me, and then the people around me have different expectations of me.
Yeah, because we go down this line of conversation, that to me is where I would.
Yeah.
Whether you did a second chance is who did you hurt and to what extent.
Yeah.
Yeah. You rob somebody, that's one thing. You left them with lifelong trauma, that's another thing.
Yeah.
Then not only whether you deserve a second chance or not is one thing, whether I can even be your friend ever again.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if I can, whether I'm so that I can clean my mind of that memory and treat you different, like treat you before that pre-crime, like PC or post-crime.
Something wrong with me.
No, I don't think so.
I think right, if it's family member I different. I think I'll be like you.
Yeah.
Cause who else the person have left? Other than
Wouldn't
the
by
family?
your logic be more disgusted with family?
Actually, same.
No,
That I agree with this one.
disgusted, but my willingness, right, to pull through the disgustingness and still like
Like day in, day
Go.
out, I've been living with a cat killer.
Willpower.
I love my family that much that
Yeah.
I will be willing to take out thing. Not say I'm supporting whatever crime they did, right?
Yeah.
But I think I'll be more willing to actually like be there
Right.
in my capacity for my family member lah.
Right. No. I think in the same way, that's the same lens I apply to my circle. When y'all say that, I'm thinking of a person I'm close to, not someone that, because we are in this industry, we know everybody.
Yep.
But they one or multiple arms length away. I'm not talking about if it happens to them, I suddenly will go and be your very close friend and the only one that's there for you. No, I mean, if we are good friends now, and you did a mistake, you got caught, everyone gives you shit for it. Whatever, let's say if it's then, like whatever friendship we had, that's the friendship that we have. You fucking got caught, right? But you have to, for the rest of our life, deal with me making like fucking jokes like, hey, there got younger. You know, then you know what I mean? Whether or not you had that kind of tendencies, or really maybe the girl just very mature, and then maybe you just no luck with girls, then there's only a segment of girls that is susceptible to you, nothing to do with your sexual tendencies. Like whatever it is, you did it, you know it's wrong. The whole world knows it's wrong. They told you to your face repeatedly it's wrong. And you got caught. You know that already. But our friendship don't change.
Now, right, you see, right?
I mean, but prison change you, then that might change our friendship.
Yeah.
Right? The way the media attacks you and then makes you change as a person, that might change our friendship.
Right.
But whatever you did, as of now, doesn't change our friendship. Is how I process. So there is an onus to be my friend, right? It's very important that, like, and when you say that, I think about the NOC saga. Right? When certain things happen, certain friendship actually can still carry on because they're not very much affected. And it's not say victimless, but it's not like rape. You know, it's not violence. It's I pay like share you working hours. Maybe I'm mentally torture you. I still understand. Torturous, understand.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, like certain friendships can still actually be kept. People that are quite not impacted. But then do you, like Ryan, for example, was very conscious that he's like tainted by media. Right. So when I ask him, are you okay with me or not? He's like, you sure you want me to do this?
Right.
I will thank your show. You know, or even like, you okay to be seen with me outside or not? Because there was a period like we go for dinner and people might take picture.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, then he's like, oh, are you okay to be...
Are you okay?
You know, are you okay to be tainted? And I quite like respect that. Like Ryan told me that are you okay to be tainted by association?
Wow, but it's so heavy to be that aware of that.
Yeah.
It's such a heavy burden to bear.
But then you must be able, of which I say I'm okay, right? But you must be able to take it right when someone say, no, my new career in showbiz is on the rise as such, bro.
Not to further the conversation for this, right? But I think then for you, an interesting scenario would be like a checkmate scenario for you, right? Is if like, let's say your very close friend and like, let's say your family, something happens in between. Then one is the victim, one is the aggressor, what, right?
Wow.
Then now you're in a checkmate situation.
Oh, shit.
Because you say you will stay friends no matter what, right?
Yeah. No lah, family first. No, you don't have to bring family. Even if it's two friends, you will likely have to side one. That is the truth of the thing.
Right.
You are not hated, but I might cut one of you off from my life. But not hated. If like then and that like break up, then you just kind of I won't suddenly hate one of them, but it's just probably not gonna talk to one of them forever.
Right.
But we choose.
This is okay. So this is something that
No, it depends on the time of the year. Peach face.
Mercury in retrograde.
no, this okay. So I'm like just thinking, right? Like, when recently I faced this, right? Okay, so basically like a friend group, extended friend group, you know, not a direct friend group, and then there were people who dating, and then there was like cheating,
Right.
and then. To me, it's like just I think was it you said it like the cheating is like really like a very deep thing. So to me, it was like
No,
if you don't have to cheat on me. You know, you cheat on someone else.
Yeah.
That fact that you are a cheater, like I don't ever want to associate with you. Like I just don't want you in my life.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the kind of person I want. You know, no way. So I just avoid them. I don't talk to them. If you talk to my friends and talk in a group setting, so be it. I'm not going to be rude to them to their face or anything. I just avoid them.
So let's say by this logic, right? I get caught cheating on Pet, right? And it becomes like news lah. It crosses your mind to say I should resign from this company.
Yeah, it will come to me that because I have to associate with you daily.
Yeah.
And to me that like that's something that mentally will affect me.
If let's say you are the victim's friend, now when all of this is unfolding, how do you be a friend to the victim also? And I feel like a lot of people will also come out and like step up and say something and that kind of shit, right? Like when somebody tell you
I think
something,
if it's guy or girl,
like,
very different.
traumatic, what do you mean?
Right? Like if it's
a bro or if it's a girl.
No, if I feel like if Ian Fang, for example, was a female celebrity and this was a
Sure. Could be male, could be
15-year-old boy, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Then I feel like the way
Wait,
guys
our friend is 15 years old.
You're 15 also.
Yeah,
We
we are all 15.
Yeah, we are not.
Oh, okay, we're all 15.
Okay, scenario 15.
Oh, sorry. So you're talking about your friends with the victim. You're friends with a 15-year-old as a 34-year-old. Then you grooming again. You also go.
I also groom. That's why.
This episode's about you.
I was just thinking a random friend. Okay. So say I'm a 15-year-old friend to the 15-year-old. Yeah. Okay.
Wow, you seem quite mature for your age.
Hello, Uncle Dan.
Oh, no.
You do seem very mature for your age.
Thanks.
Okay, so we're all 15-year-olds and we're all friends with a person who's a victim of this grooming or whatever sort of. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As in my 15-year-old self, as in if I was her classmate or whatever, I will like defend her if anyone bully her, right?
Why would but
Like,
you
I
assume
think-
she will get bullied for this?
No, if she get like, if anyone disturb her or like if, because I feel like I want
Ian
to
Fang fan
protect,
clubs.
like I want to protect her.
Right. Fair, yeah.
Her state of mind, I
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
Like that would be my priority as a friend, ma. And I feel like when I was 15, my capacity was like, if like someone bully her, hey, you are news or that kind of thing, right? I would like fuck the other person up.
Yeah.
Verbally, like I mean like threaten a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like complain to teacher, that kind of thing lah.
So I got layers because I'm very curious about the previous conversation we've had, right? And I think a part of me that am the way I am, that's why I haven't moved on from the conversation. If y'all would indulge me, right?
Yeah.
Is that I feel like I'm someone that is flawed like the rest of us. And we all have layers. Like in someone's story, in your story, you could have been bullied. In another person's story, you are the bully.
Yep.
And I believe the same for most of us. Because we are humans and we are inconsistent. And to apply that I cannot associate myself with you, to me, right, I don't think it's wrong. But my perspective, right, is until you make a mistake and then you see how you want the world to treat you. And I feel like my very selfish perspective, right, is that people that feel this way, right, have not fallen before.
I think it makes sense, but there are tiers to it.
Agree.
So then this is maybe your threshold and our threshold is just different. Because I fully agree with what you're saying. I also think that being a friend means a lot more than just like only doing the good time
vibes.
style shit.
Yeah.
I totally agree that. But then the threshold and the boundaries, maybe it's just different for us, lor. Because for me, if like you sexually assault somebody or a minor or this kind of shit, right, then that's beyond my threshold, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Then the why would be important to you?
No, the why is for sure important because
The why would change any outcome or no?
I think there's like some room for flexibility because everything got reason. Right? Everybody has their reasons.
Like for whatever reason, I take a pill, I beat my wife. You know what I mean? Like then it's one off thing, but I still beat my wife. She is hurt or dead. Like to me, it's damn hard. This man killed his wife. I can see that. I'll be hated by and shunned by circles that this man killed his wife. Or brutally beat his wife even if she's still alive. But like, to me, the why important.
Yeah, the why
How
damn
did you get
important.
there? How did your wife push you there? Or were you intoxicated? Were you drugged up?
Yeah,
But we've
To
also,
me, that's important.
Yeah.
we've also been so heavily shaped by like the media. And like you look at film and how they've given villains their own story and meaning and intention and all that kind
Like
of
me
and
root for the
motives,
Joker.
right?
Like Joker.
Like it could
Like
be so
Wicked.
similar. So it's very dangerous. Where do you draw the line, right? And those boundaries.
I think the tier thing is a very important thing to ascertain here. Because, okay, let's say, right, when I was younger, I've been the recipient of charitable friendship. So when I did mistakes when I was younger, my friends who were there didn't just abandon me immediately. You know, like, okay, let's just, very simple example.
I don't call that charitable friendships. I call them friendships.
Sure, but I'm the charity they extended in their friendship is how I took advantage. So just an example is when I was younger and because I was in a boys' school, right? We throw out slurs all the time. You know, you just use it like water. It doesn't mean anything because no one's getting offended by it too much. But over time, I realized that's very harmful behavior to perpetuate. So I kept doing that, and then I realized in poly and NS, the friends around me who actually cared, they would be like, "That's not cool," and that's something that. If I look at it from my own POV, right? If someone today said, like repeatedly kept saying slurs in my presence, and I would just be like, I'm not even going to bother being a friend anymore. I'm just going to like move away from them. right? So if they had done that to me, then I would have been just left without those friends, and then I would never have fixed my behavior or become better.
Yeah.
But then when you've done the thing that is beyond the moment of teaching, when they can no longer help you fix your behavior. So if someone in my friend circle did something that is, I can't even help you but out of it, I can't even change your behavior. What you've done is that thing. Like, let's say you be a wife.
No, let's say it's in the same aspect, right? You say the N word and then you go in the black neighborhood, right? For example, and you're in America, you say the N word and you cannot beaten up by a gang. Now you said it already, right? And you got caught by the black community saying it already. But it's done already.
Well, okay.
You want to get shunned by your friends?
Me and my friends, we go there and then someone goes and says it and attracts trouble. And
you say it and then you get your ass beaten up by the gangsters, right?
Am I still entitled to your friendship?
Do you feel entitled to my friendship?
I feel like in my selfish perspective, I'm like, yeah lah, he should still be my friend. Because in front of him, I don't say what, I don't do it to him. What, he's not the one getting the he's not the victim of it. Also. Yeah. But somebody else is the victim, somebody you don't see is the victim, then not your problem. What?
Agree.
But then when on the other side, I'll be like, even though the victim is not somebody I know, not somebody I see, I can still see that what you're doing is harmful to somebody out there.
Yeah.
And like the way I see it is, I cannot be friends with you if you do that to someone else, even if it's unseen. But if I was the one perpetrating it, then I'm like, but I mean, that's just a human hypocrisy.
No.
I can admit I'm a hypocrite.
That's how I live with the hypocrisy. That I will always give people a chance. I will try and see the best in people because I know of the human hypocrisy.
Would you say that is that you're seeing the best in them? Or is it just you are not seeing the worst?
I just think that physically unable to label people by one act, whether it's a good or bad act. You can do something damn good. To me, you are not a very chivalrous man as a result.
Right.
You are a collection of the 1 million things I've seen you do.
Yep.
And plus what I've heard about you. Like
so it works
all
both
that
ways.
together. Yeah. So it's not one bad thing you did or one damn solid thing you did. Unless that one solid thing you did was at a very crucial moment in life, you kind of saved me, you saved my business or whatever, right? Then I will remember you as as the person that did me a solid. But to me, right, that one thing you did has no bearing on your character. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
You did me a solid, so I want to do you a solid one day. Do I think you're a great man because you did me a solid? No. Maybe it was easy for you, maybe it was convenient for you, maybe you had something you gain, I just didn't know. Like, but you saved my life, I want to save your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one bad deed won't like wash away all the good. But in that case, right, then we also consider, right, would the one good thing, right, wash away bad thing? So like all the penance and all the rehabilitation, can it ever wash away that stain?
No.
The bad?
No, so to me is that we as society, right, we need rules. We need rules so that people that are born smaller have a chance to live.
Yeah.
Right? It's not like strength, might is right, right? We need to have rules. And the rules are out there. We live our life the best we can. If we flout the rule plus get caught, you get punished by it. I think fair game. I'm not here to debate whether the rule is too harsh, not too harsh, blah, 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 right? Fair game. But then I feel like after that, we go back and then we live our life. If I feel like as a person, if I did not personally wrong you, I would expect you to not distance yourself from me.
Okay, thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Join the community for more engagement there. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Ciao.
Bye.